This one I don't. This one I think is okay. There's one on one.
Really? Yeah, did you have a chance? We didn't have a big group. Shannon was sick, I got sick again, so we just said, let's figure maybe we'll go up next fall. We've never been up in the fall, I mean, the board. One of these, we will find a special go somewhere. This all started way back when, see, I have my college master's is in botany. So when I would go up, I mean, I'm not just going to have a lab exam in their woods. Because we have it outside.
If you're going to get in the videotape, you'll have to come around this way. So somehow it didn't work, did it? Well, there are a few folks. I want to take a minute to thank Don Green, who has been playing some music back there on a piano, which has State University of Wisconsin Stevens Point on the back. It's older than Don, and it was I didn't think you could hear back there, Don. Later, Laura Caviani will be playing some piano for us, and Charles Going will be here to entertain too. So I think the UWSP Department of Music for contributing to this auspicious occasion. I'm Keith Sanders. I have the good fortune to be Chancellor of this fine university, and I also have the good fortune to welcome all of you here on this beautiful spring afternoon to celebrate the permanent installation of the Vallier Early American Pressed Glass Goblet Collection. I hope you've all had a chance to take a look at it. It starts over here, moves around, and goes that way on the other end of the building. If you haven't, you'll have a chance to do so after this brief program has concluded. I do want to take a minute, though, to express our deep appreciation for this collection and to thank those who are responsible for its being here. Before I thank Dory Vallier and Jack Vallier for making this collection possible and talk a little bit about it, I want to tell you about one or two other things that this wonderful couple has done for UW-Stevens Point. And by the way, we're putting this entire program on videotape because Jack Vallier can't be with us today. He's hospitalized. And so from time to time, I'm going to say, hello, Jack. I hope you're feeling good today. And I hope you enjoy this program as much as we're enjoying it. There is, though, an absence. And you're it. And we'd be having even more fun if you were here. In the mid-1980s, Jack and Dory Vallier made a contribution to the university of some 800 acres of prime woodland up near Tomahawk. They also contributed some dollars to help build classroom and dormitory facilities on that property. And soon others were inspired by their example. The Irving L. Young Foundation, for example, the Oakley family, and several others. And now we have one of the very finest environmental training facilities anywhere in the nation. It's located on 1,100 acres of beautiful northern Wisconsin woodland. It serves groups ranging from those who come to elder hostel programs to all of the students, some 1,600 of them, who are in the nation's largest, and we think the best, College of Natural Resources. Since that facility opened, Dory, in 1986, more than 37,000 people have used it to learn about the woods and the streams and the ecology of this state. Well, that we thought was an act of generosity never to be topped, but Dory and Jack continue to make important contributions to our university. Recently, they gave us the funds we need to bring to the campus a UW distinguished professorship in ecology. Their support will allow us to bring to the campus a nationally recognized scholar in ecology. We are currently in the process of interviewing candidates for that position, and I'm told that several of them are nationally acclaimed, one of whom will be hired and will bring to our students access to the very best top-flight expertise in the field of ecology. So we have many reasons to be grateful for the long and good and deep and altogether enjoyable friendship that we have with Jack and Dory Vallier. Now, a word or two about this collection. The goblets that you will see on display, if you haven't already, are 1,200 in number. They are glassware representing most of the pressed goblets manufactured on this continent between 1830 and 1900, both of the lead variety and origin and soda lime produced. The Valliers spent about 15 years accumulating the goblets that you see displayed here. They began in the late 1960s. The glassware depicts major themes in 19th century life. Celebrities, nature, Beaver Pond, for example, bellflower. You'll see celebrities such as Jumbo and P.T. Barnum's African elephant. You'll find historical images on some of the goblets, Lincoln's drape, the Liberty Bell, for example. It is, I'm told by people who know, a world-class collection. And not only was the collection itself contributed by Jack and Dory, but also the cabinetry, which holds the exhibit in its permanent place here in this building, but also the catalog, which I urge you to look at before you leave today and perhaps purchase. You'll find it an outstanding piece of work. And as you read about the various goblets which are discussed in here, you'll find inevitably that your awareness and that your appreciation of each of them grows substantially. I can tell you that because I spent some time today with this magnificently photographed, written, and produced catalog. It's hard, I think, to appreciate the detailed study, the persistence, the knowledge, and the expertise that goes into putting this kind of collection together. I was trying to think of a way to communicate all that to you, and I got over here and noticed that's probably been done better than I can do it through this one cabinet and the displays that are in it. So I would urge you to come over and take a look, because you'll find there pages from a diary that Dory and Jack kept as they were collecting each of these pieces. And I've thumbed through it, Dory, and it is a very detailed history of where each piece came from, the date it was purchased, the amount that was paid for it, the person from whom it was purchased, and every now and then you get an interesting comment. Some were returned to the persons from whom they were purchased because they were duplicates of others in the collection. And every now and then, the author of this diary can't resist making a comment about the purchase of the day. The briefest one is item 1160, and the comment was simply, unusual. So I urge you to come and look at this particular part of the collection. It's sort of introduction to the collection, and it'll give you a good deal of appreciation for all that went in to those 15 years of collecting. But there are others who are very important to this celebration today, too. Rene Guot, sitting immediately to my right, is the former director of the Carlston Art Gallery, and she is actually the director of this project and had a whole lot to do with bringing it into existence. She devoted hours of research into the origin of each of the goblets, identifying, arranging, labeling, and overseeing the production of the catalog that I recommended to you earlier. Kirk Nelson, immediately to my left, is the curator of glass at the Sandwich Glass Museum in Sandwich, Massachusetts. He authored the essays about the favorite 50 goblets, which are all in the catalog. And as I said, I think you ought to read them because you'll come to an even deeper appreciation of this collection. A survey was done of 300 specialists around the country, one or two of whom are here today, asking them which were their favorite 50, and you have the consensus in the catalog. Is Mary Maher here? Mary is editor of Mixed Media in Madison, and she helped edit the materials that went into the catalog. I want to take just a second and comment on why I think this is such an important collection to have here in this building on our campus. First, it is aesthetically beautiful, and it adds sparkle and luster to our campus and to this building. It is seen by thousands of people who come here for theatrical productions, dance productions, for art exhibits of all kinds. It is also seen regularly by the hundreds of people who are in and out of this building on a daily basis, our faculty, our staff, our students. And it adds to the beauty of a building which itself won an architectural award for its beauty internally and externally, and it fits in its beauty in this spot so well. And in fact, we think its being here contributes to the objective which Dory and Jack set out upon in their collecting and in their giving this collection to us, and that is to increase knowledge, awareness, and appreciation of pressed glass. Secondly, the collection exemplifies quality and artistry. It shows that study and perseverance and commitment can produce beautiful outcomes. The goblets individually exemplify rare artistry of high quality, and the fact that the collection exists at all is a tribute to persistence, to expertise, to study, and hard work. Finally, it demonstrates an unselfishness, a generosity, a caring attitude on the part of the donors and on the part of those who put the catalog together and brought the collection into existence. And all of these qualities are those which we try to exhibit here on a regular basis in our behavior as well as in our art, and they are the qualities, those qualities of perseverance and generosity and artistry. Those are some of the virtues that not only do we try to practice here, but also that we try to teach. And so you will find in this collection, symbolically, much of what this university stands for. So I speak for our entire community in saying, Dory, to both you and Jack, thank you. We are so pleased that you, among your many contributions to this university, chose this particular building for this beautiful international class collection. It is a generous contribution among the other generous contributions that you have made to us. And my final comment is that Jack and Dory Vallier are the kind of people that we want our students to become. We're saving a tribute to Dory here at the very end. That's why I haven't even quite pointed her out to you yet. We'll do that a little later on. Helen Godfrey will accept this collection on behalf of the university. She's Assistant Chancellor for Student Development and University Relations.
It's wonderful to have you here today, Dory, and dear friend Jack, you're here in our hearts. As a sidelight, it's also wonderful to see these two people here, Renee and Dory. I knew many years ago when I looked at Dory's resume when she submitted it for the Board of Visitors, and then I learned that Renee, I knew what her background, academic background was. I said to them separately, I think you two will get along because you're both from the same alma mater, Wellesley College. And putting them together, and I learned that through the project, they have become very good friends and care very much for one another. As I think about the meaning of this collection, I remember quite vividly Saturday, September 7th, in 1985, when we had the first dedication of the Vallier pressed glass goblet collection. And I also recall fondly that it was 2 years before that, on Friday, July 29th, a very warm day in 1983, that former Dean Paul Palumbo, former Chancellor and Mrs. Marshall, and I made a trip to their home in Milwaukee. And it was there that I viewed in awe this wonderful collection for the first time. And it was Paul Palumbo and the Valliers who began at that moment to envision this collection being here in the College of Fine Arts building and being presented so that it could be shared with many, many others. And as I think of the Valliers, Dory and Jack, I am reminded of a theme from one of Sigrid Olson's books. Sigrid Olson was a distinguished ecologist and interpreter of the wilderness. And in his book, Reflections from the North Country, he writes of a dream he had of someday seeing the Hudson Bay. And he then goes on and talks about the great thrill which filled him when the dream was complete. His thoughts were, quote, "As long as a dream is ahead, there is always something to look forward to. And when that dream is realized, there is but an open door to another adventure." And so I think of Dory and Jack Vallier when I read those passages from Sigrid Olson. Their love of adventure, of preserving, of collecting and sharing. When the logging tool adventure neared completion, the door opened to the collection of the pressed glass goblet collection. Later came the dream of sharing this collection and placing it in a home where it can be enjoyed by many, and then the dream of this magnificent catalog and the history of the collection was born. And again, according to Olson, the attainment of dreams brings spiritual fulfillment and growth, a state of being that gives meaning to our lives. Dory and Jack have found that meaning to life, and it is in that spirit of attainment and sharing that we receive the gift of this marvelous collection. And so on behalf of the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, our present and future students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends, I say also thank you. We are most fortunate to be the recipients of one of the many dreams of Dory and Jack Vallier, and we graciously accept this collection. Thank you.
Dean Jerry McKenna of this college and some of his staff have been active in helping this collection come into existence, has encouraged it, has enjoyed it, directed many people to it who have come into this building and didn't know it was here. So I'm asking Dean McKenna also to second the acceptance of this collection on behalf of the university and of this college.
It's a great pleasure for me, on behalf of the College of Fine Arts and Communication, to accept this wonderful collection. For the generosity, we're very thankful for Dory and Jack's generosity. And Jack, if you were here, you'd be very pleased about this. Your friends are here, your very close friends, and a lot of university friends as well. As the Chancellor said, this building is really a showplace. It's a wonderful space to work in. It's a great deal of activity in the arts, and I can't think of a better place on campus and a more correct place than our college to house this wonderful collection. It represents, I think, very much the slogan of our college, and that is the best in performance, creativity, and expression. And this fits, I think, very well with that slogan. I think the collection means a great deal to us in the College of Fine Arts and Communication because I think it signifies excellence. It also gives us a strong sense of our history. It gives us an understanding of the human condition and the appreciation of the beauty and form of shapes. Even something as simple as a common container can move from function to beauty. I'd like to also thank the Valliers for something that they are, and that is a very special group of people. We're all impressed by their great generosity of giving the collection to us in the university. But I think if we really think about it, we should be even more impressed with who they are and how they gave this priceless collection to us. And to do that, I always think of their charm, their style, and above all, their grace in handling something like this and making sure that it goes on in perpetuity. And we are only too happy to accept it under those conditions. And lastly, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Renee Guo, who I've worked with for the last couple of years. She was here during my first couple of years, and she's been pretty busy the last few years working with 3 young children. But at the same time, she's been able to see the birth of her 4th child, and that is this magnificent collection and the catalog. So it's my pleasure to introduce Renee Guo.
I never really knew what labor was until the last couple of weeks. They didn't say it would last this long. But anyway, before I have the honor of introducing our special guest, Kirk Nelson, I would also like to thank Jack and Dory for being such great people to work for. Thanks, Dory, and thanks, Jack. I would also like to thank Jerry McKenna and his staff, who we could not do without, who have been really helpful with all kinds of details when I come up, from unlocking doors to making labels to finding Windex, you name it, they can do it for me. It's been a privilege to have had the opportunity to work with the person I'm about to introduce. He received his master's degree in early American culture from the Winterthur Museum in 1982. His thesis was, coincidentally enough, on the development of the glass press in the early 1820s. Before coming to the Sandwich Glass Museum in Sandwich, Massachusetts, where he's currently curator of glass, he served as curator at the Bennington Museum, which has a pressed glass goblet of only 1,100 goblets. It's a pleasure and honor to welcome Kirk Nelson, author of our newly published catalog.
Bring the slide screens up and dim the lights. My talk will last only about 40 minutes, so get comfortable. No, actually, I don't have to do that because it's in the catalog. I'm really delighted to be present at this ceremony, marking the culmination of almost 2 years of work on the goblet installation and catalog, and documenting decades of appreciation for early American glass on the part of the Valliers. During these past 2 years, it's been a great joy for me to work with such sharing individuals as Dory and Jack. In conception, their catalog is somewhat more ambitious than the standard collection publication. This in itself tells us something about the Valliers' selfless commitment to the study of early American glass. For many collectors in a similar situation would simply pick out their own personal favorites as the subject for their catalog. Dory and Jack, however, readily supported this idea of an open balloting, and the final result reflects the tabulated selection of more than 100 dealers, authors, curators, and collectors of patterned glass goblets. This selection helps us to understand what specifically collectors look for in goblets, why some are considered preferable to others, and why the Vallier collection has such a broad historical and aesthetic significance for us. One of only 2 or 3 comprehensive collections of pressed glass available for study to the public, this collection documents the major American contribution to the roughly 4,000-year history of man-made glass, and that is mechanized production. This, in turn, represents one of the most vital elements in our national character as it was perceived in the 19th century, and one that was responsible in large part for that series of complex social and cultural changes sometimes referred to as the Industrial Revolution. So I think that this collection is not only a great monument to the collecting interest and perseverance of Dory and Jack, but that it represents a very significant and relevant aspect of our past. And so to Dory and to Jack, we would all raise a goblet in thanks and appreciation. And in fact, I had asked Renee if we couldn't use the glass goblets as part of the reception. Particularly appropriate, but oh well.
We have too many children, right?
There you go, yeah. So it is for me a real pleasure to be here. I'm delighted to be here at this ceremony. And thank you, both you and Jack.
Now I would like to introduce you more or less formally to the lady about whom there has been much talk and whom many of you met informally earlier. I would like Dory to stand and to accept our applause, and if she'd like to say a word or two, Dory. This is not scripted. So.
Anything, but I might think of something.
Okay. Well, first I'd just like you to stand up and let's all say thank you to Dory.
I really was told I wouldn't have to say anything, so I really don't know how to start, except I have thanks from Jack and me to the Chancellor, to Jerry McKenna, to Kirk, and to Renee. And as you heard, Renee went to Wellesley, and so did I, but she was 50 years after I was. So we really had a common bond, and we've had a lot of fun doing this. It was great collecting all these items that we've given to the university, and Jack and I just had a great time doing it for all those years. And he was one husband in a million, I really think you should realize this, who would be willing to stop, put on the brake, and turn back for an antique shop. How many husbands would do that? There aren't very many. So Jack said to say hello to all of you. He's sorry he couldn't be here. He's in the hospital in Milwaukee, and I'm hoping that he's going to get better. He had a stroke on February 1st, and he was wanting to come so badly, but the doctor said, no, you can't make it. So I'll say my best for all of you from Jack. Thank you very much.
Dory really didn't tell the whole story about this duo who collects. Jack has a passion of his own. He collects logging memorabilia and tools and has put together a logging museum. So I'm sure, Dory, there were lots of times when you turned around to go back to that antique shop for 2 reasons and not just one. Thanks, everybody, for coming and helping us celebrate the permanent installation of this beautiful collection. Take care.
Greetings, Jack. We've been thinking about you many times in the last few months. We were up to Tree Haven for Friends of Tree Haven meeting last week. It was an excellent group as usual, and we are certainly happy to be here on this occasion and wish you our best.
Hello, Jack. I'm so glad that Dory could be here. This is a wonderful occasion. We appreciate all your collecting, and I'm sure the university appreciates all the collecting too. Best to you. This is from Ruth Sylvester. First,
Jack, ready? Jack, Karen and I want to say hello. Good luck to you. We're working it out. When we get to Milwaukee, we'll get together with Dory and we'll come out and see you. We miss you. We wish you were here today. God bless you.
And Jack, Bob said everything I was going to say about getting to Milwaukee to see you. It's been a delight to be with Dory today. We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in June. Take care. Get well. Mr.
Vallier. My name's Ann Bridget Gary, and I'm professor of ceramics here at UWSP. And I just talked with your lovely wife, and I wanted to share something with you that's really important to me and to the department. And that is, this fall, for the first time, I'll be teaching a new course that I developed called the History of Cultural Crafts, which has a special emphasis in ceramics and glassware of the 19th and 20th century. And I thought you would think that that was really cool, because we can really use this glass collection for a lot of research and a lot of historical stuff that really ties in together what we're doing in terms of our curriculum. So it's a really big help to me, and I wanted to thank you to represent the art and design department, because it supports the crafts area, which is my specialty, and I just want to say thank you very much. So.
Isn't she a dynamo, Jack?
You are too. She's
No,
great.
no,
Thank
you want
you.
to stay for mine.
Okay.
Jack, I wish you could taste the food. It is great. The cheese and grapes were wonderful. Am I right?
And chocolate-covered strawberries.
And the chocolate-covered strawberries. I'll send you some. Get well soon. Bye-bye.
Hope we can meet you. Bye.
Just wanted to take a minute here after this great celebration and reception to offer my personal best wishes. I intended to come see you last week, and at the last minute I got a call from Carol. I'd been out in Washington, and I got a call from Carol saying that she was in bed and had a high fever, and I came on back to Point rather than stopping in Milwaukee. But Carol and I and some other folks will be stopping by to see you at the hospital, and then as soon as you get home, some of us will come there, because Jack, we have really enjoyed our relationship with you, and we really do appreciate the generosity that you and Dory have consistently displayed toward our university. But more than all of that, Jack, we love you as a friend, and we want you to get up out of that bed, get well, and come home soon. We'll see you soon, Jack.
Jack, I wanted to take just a minute to tell you how grateful we all are at the college for your generosity. I'm really sorry that you can't be with us today, and I know Dory is too, but I really meant it when I said that earlier about that special grace that both of you have. I think it's kind of a shame that we don't see that very often in a lot of people, and both of you represent that so much to us. This collection is really very important to us, and I want you to know that, and that for years people will be coming up and asking, tell me about the Vallier collection. Show me something about it. Show me a catalog. It's going to be a great pleasure to do that. The beauty of having both of you here and the campus so many times helping us out and making sure that we're able to do this the right way and having the collection secure and the way it ought to be presented, that's because of you. So we wish you the very best, and we know that you're here with us in spirit. And take care. We'll see you soon, I hope.
Friend Helen here. We're having a real good time, but please know that we miss you. I want you to know I've been thinking of you all spring through while we've had the snowfalls, and waiting for the ferns to poke their heads through the snow up north. And I'm sure that you've been anxiously awaiting for spring, and I hope that you can continue to progress and take care of yourself. We'll look forward to seeing you up at Tree Haven in a couple months, or maybe a couple weeks. Everyone here has been very excited about the program today, and Dory did a nice job in accepting our thanks. Renee has done a wonderful job, and I bet you're going to spend hours looking at this wonderful catalog. I still remember that hot summer day and having lemonade on your veranda, and then going upstairs and seeing this glass collection in your bedroom and the little alcove upstairs. And to see it now here at the university is really a dream come true. So we thank you, and you take care. Bye-bye.
I just wanted to join the others in telling you that we miss you, we love you, we hope you're well soon. We're looking forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.
Doris Palumbo, I want to tell you how thrilled Paul would be for your collection. It's been a wonderful reception, and we miss you terribly, and I don't want to say any more than we've missed you, and I know you would be just as proud as Paul.